Bon, bah on va continuer Call of machin. Où hier, quand j'ai arrêté, j'étais en train de m'échapper de l'hôpital psychiatrique. Là, j'ai mis une bio là, sur Mixer, ça va encore faire parler. Je m'en fous. Ça va sûrement encore faire parler. Ouf, je m'en tape. Je m'en tape. Je m'en tape. C'est comme les deux gars d'hier là, qui m'ont. C'est comme les deux gars de Twitch qui m'ont trouvé sur YouTube hier. Pareil, ça aussi. Comment que des mecs sur, qui sont sur Twitch on peut trouver ma chaîne YouTube? C'est la grande question que je me pose. Comme les insultes qu'on m'a fait la dernière fois, c'est pareil. Comment que les mecs réussissent à toujours trouver ma chaîne, alors que sur Mixer, quand je diffuse, je suis tellement tout en bas de Mixer que pour me trouver, voilà quoi. Pareil ça aussi. Comment ils ont pu trouver ma chaîne? Je pense que j'ai ma petite idée sur la question, mais bon. Je préfère éviter de le dire parce que sinon ça va encore partir en vrille, mais bon. C'est que c'est quelqu'un qui les a renseignés. Quand un mec de Twitch vient m'acheter sur YouTube, sur Twitch je le banne, je le signale. Je le bloque, je le banne, enfin bref, je le bloque je le bloque sur Twitch. Et le même mec, vient me trouver arrive à me trouver sur YouTube. C'est quand même.
This is insane.
C'est quand même.
What killed him?
Il y a quand même de quoi s'interroger. Il y a quand même de quoi s'interroger. Après, je dis ça. Après, je dis ça. Je dis ça. Comme on dit, je dis ça, j'ai rien.
Damn!
Je dis ça, j'ai rien.
The gas!
Mais bon.
Oh. My head.
Later. We need to move on.
Je dis ça, j'ai rien. Même si de toute façon je vais des réponses à mes questions, de toute façon j'en aurai pas de toute façon. Donc, de toute façon j'en aurai pas. De manière. C'est comme Bisounours sur Mixer quand un gars qui était sûrement de ses amis est venu sur mon live pour m'insulter de je sais, vieux con, je sais pas quoi. Je suis allé sur son live, je lui dis mais tu connais les garantés hein? Je connais pas.
Who goes there? That nightmare again. I need a drink.
Quoi. J'aime bien ces mecs qui disent ah mais moi j'y suis pour rien, je le connais pas ce mec-là, etc.
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
I didn't see what, but something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
You're right. Without a plausible explanation for what I saw, let's not jump to conclusions.
That seems wise indeed.
Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
Bon alors on fait comment pour sortir de là? Mais bon, comme je dis, j'accuse personne, je m'interroge, c'est tout. Je m'interroge. De toute façon, quand t'es un mec comme moi, parce que je suis pas le seul à me faire insulter je suis pas le seul à me faire insulter quand on stream, je suis pas le seul. Malheureusement, je dirais. Mais quand on est aussi peu connu que je suis, que tu te fais insulter par des mecs qui arrivent soudainement à trouver ta chaîne alors que t'es pas le numéro 1, que ce soit sur YouTube, que ce soit sur Twitch, t'es pas le numéro 1 quoi, donc t'es plutôt le dernier que le numéro 1. C'est assez bizarre que ces mecs-là
What can I do for you, sir?
arrivent à mettre la main
Sanders?
sur toi alors que
I'm a private detective.
voilà quoi, c'est pas.
We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we
C'est
go
quand
any further,
même,
please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's here. You know each other. Our paths crossed, briefly. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me. May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
What happened to your husband is terrible, Mrs. Sanders. But from what I saw, it was inevitable. The man I met yesterday had lost his reason. He suffers no longer, if you would allow me such a platitude.
Of course. Thank you for your kind words. Nobody in that hospital would have deigned to speak them to me. However, it will require more than that to soothe my mind. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
With all due respect, Mrs. Sanders, it was you who sent him to this asylum, not me.
How dare you? What was I supposed to do, detective? Upon seeing such a brilliant mind disintegrate in this way, waking with a start every night with him shrieking in horror, petrified before this accursed painting, unable to look away, until he managed to gouge his eyes out with his own hands. I should have listened to Dr. Fuller, let him intern him months ago. If I am to be condemned, it is because I did not act sooner.
I'm not here to condemn you, Mrs. Sanders.
Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
May I ask you what Miss Baker is doing here? How do you know her?
My business with Miss Baker is private. Mr. Pierce.
But you do know what kind of business Miss Baker is in, don't you?
I am no fool. Please believe that much, at least.
How did you come to meet Sarah Hawkins?
We were the wealthiest and most influential families on Darkwater. Of course we would know each other. And when Charles returned from Europe with his sweet little artist, she and her sinister paintings were destined to catch my husband's eye. He bought many of her works over the last 5 years. They adorn his macabre gallery.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it...
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long. The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives. Frances Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even? A house of artists. Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler, "Finally." What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting? He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom? She first refused to sell the painting. How did that make her feel? She despises Sarah Hawkins, but it's the painting she truly hates. Why? The Shambler. I need to see it.
Ouais, mais si tout est fermé...
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
I have a well-off client in Boston who heard about the death of Francis Sanders and wanted me to size up his estate before making an offer to his widow.
Perfect, Detective. The pretext, the body language, I would have bought it if it was the first time I'd seen your face. You're a good talker, Pierce. Your story will do for the moment.
There's more than that, Miss Baker.
So people have been talking behind my back. I was almost beginning to like you, Mr. Pierce. But it stays cat for you.
You knew the Sanders?
Irene is a friend of mine.
And you? What brings you to the Sanders home?
I'm here on business. Irene asked me to liquidate all these paintings. She doesn't intend to hang around here for long.
Why you?
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network and a means of transport to the mainland. A choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more pleasant, wouldn't you say?
A strange Amerindian pendant. I could use one of those. Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing. An old diary. These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times. The public entrance to the gallery. Why was he so interested in old weapons? The man transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery. What the hell was that? I can't even touch it. What the hell was that? That thing came out of this painting. There has to be a link. Maybe if I destroy it. That thing came out of this painting. There has to be. Maybe if I destroy it. What the hell was that? Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection, or was he seeking to acquire it? Damn! Maybe I can use this dagger. What the hell was that? Damn! Maybe I can use this dagger. Damn it! This dagger didn't work. Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection, or was he seeking to acquire it?
Mais non. Putain.
What the hell was that? Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection, or was he seeking to acquire it? Damn! Did it hear that? Maybe I can use this dagger.
Putain.
What the hell was that? Damn! Maybe I can use this dagger. Damn it! This dagger didn't work. I have to use a specific dagger.
putain. Je crois avoir trouvé.
What the hell was that? Where's this dagger?
Oh, attends, mais... Putain. Putain.
What the hell was that? Down. This dagger.
Attends, mais... Attends. Mais attends, mais c'est quoi ça? Attends, il m'entend même pas le mec. C'est quoi ça?
What the hell was that?
Mais c'est quoi ça? Mais c'est quoi?
Dad. This dagger looks different.
What's the matter with you? You sure you won't be needing that hand? You're losing it, Detective. At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before I do.
You didn't see anything.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something?
Eh, c'est pas simple. C'est pas simple, Sam. C'est pas simple. Salut, Sam. C'est pas simple.
I was attacked by a creature. I pushed it back, I think.
C'est pas simple.
I think so too.
I ran, screamed, broke a pane of glass. You were in the next room and you didn't hear a thing.
If I hadn't heard a thing, I'd still be in the other room. The door was blocked. I got in as soon as I could. I like to look after my goods.
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. I'm talking about the contents of this gallery. And by the way, where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It saved my life. It's an extraordinary dagger.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
It's not your style to give me free information like that.
Take it as payment for being my canary. A simple trade-off. Now go see your antique seller. I've still got things to settle with Irene.
Bon, bah voilà. Bon, moi, de toute façon, je vais pas tarder à aller... je vais pas tarder à aller manger, moi, de toute façon. Pas tarder à aller manger.
Where is the bookseller? Freud's The Interpretation of Dreams. It's the work that laid the foundations of psychoanalysis at the beginning of this century.
Console. Bah, je l'ai pas mis entre parenthèses sur PS4 que je suis sur console. Moi, j'y vais pas maintenant, je vais partir à y aller. Quand mon père il sortira de la. Il va de la promener avec la chaîne. Mais j'ai marqué entre parenthèses. Je crois que j'ai marqué entre parenthèses One X, il me semble. Il me semble, hein, je crois.
What does this strange book contain? This book contains unholy knowledge. The Book of Zion is the foundational work behind Helena Blavatsky's Theosophical movement. Its followers place truth on the same footing as a religion. What happened here? Let's start over. Where did they break in from? Blood. Seems like amateur work. To whom does this footprint belong? No sign of struggle. If the burglar smashed this jar, it wasn't intentionally. Was he hurt then? What sort of thief leaves his tools at the crime scene? What killed all these animals? What happened that made the burglar flee before finishing his work? What the... Charles Hawkins? What sort of power did Sarah Hawkins' painting possess? Sarah Hawkins helped hide something in this safe. Drake put in a great deal of effort to hide whatever is in here. Everything is linked to the Sarah Hawkins case.
Ah, je sais pas pourquoi je me disais ça. Pas pourquoi. Je sais pas pourquoi je me disais ça. Pas pourquoi. Je m'en doutais de ça. Pas pourquoi.
Drake left instructions on how to find the combination of his safe.
Edouard, son coffre, son colis. Oh putain, j'aime pas y en plus. Changer des livres. Tac. J'espère que. Si par chance une personne ne va bien. Ouais, mais y a pas de. Couteau, machin, chaque même si il y aura pas eu de plaisir, mais malgré les messages qui suivent d'une importance qui signifie fait preuve d'une activité aussi précise que les mineurs peuvent. J'espère avoir accès à ma plus grande. Les intérêts de mon corps pour les indices de ce combinaison peuvent être trouvés dans 3 signaux. Tout ce que j'ai ou la vie ici se croisent en un monde grec. Page non cachée, circulation. Mon seul et dernier sport. Ok.
Is everyone on this island taking sleeping pills? What link did he find between Charles Hawkins and an old amulet? Arkham editions. Never heard of him. How many volumes are there in this collection? Another volume by Arkham editions. Arkham editions. How many volumes are there in this collection? Another volume by Arkham editions. Arkham editions. Never heard of him. How many volumes are there in this collection? Cylinders that Drake tried to hide. I should perhaps listen to them.
Alors, cylindre. Ah ouais, mais... Un cylindre original a été écouté grâce à un phonographe. J'ai trouvé les bails. Un phonographe.
Another volume by Arkham editions.
Un phonographe.
An old diary.
Un phonographe.
A kind of chalice.
Phonographe.
Things are not looking good.
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets. And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets. I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny. Dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them.
Ouais.
The Queen has little protection.
Je me laisse de parvenir. Bah ouais, mais... Je me toque de parvenir.
So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message.
Peut-être que c'est un. Le texte contient...
What did Drake say about this collection?
3. Oh, 3.
Drake talked about a particular volume. So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message. What did Drake say about this collection? Drake talked about a particular volume. So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message. What did Drake say about this collection?
Bon, hein, on va pas se... Hein, parce que je vais pas me prendre la tête, hein. Parce que... Une gros nombre de cubis rouges sur la coupe en or. Cinq, 3, 9. Mais non. Mais non. 5. 3. 9. Ah, j'arrive. Bon, bah, moi, je vais manger. Hop. J'attends que ça charge et je vais manger. 5, 3, 9. Bon, en tous les cas, 5, 3, 9, hein. Bien content de savoir. J'ai 1 heure. Ça va vite, hein. Ça va vite. Bon, je reviens à la folie plus tard, moi. Hop. Je vais rentrer dans la folie plus tard. Tac.